I'm Paul Warren,
And I'm Ryan Klein.
and this is another episode of SEO is Dead and Other Lies. How you doing today, Ryan?
Man, it was like pulling teeth for you to be even speaking right now.
Ooh, I know. We got all these projects that I want to work on. My brain is just like flying around trying to work on them.
Yeah, mine's flying around too, but I know how eager people are for us to get back on a once-a-week
You're right,
basis.
and that's why I had to do this. So we got a
Fine.
fantastic episode today for everyone out there listening, and we're going to be talking about local SEO. This is important stuff if you have any size business to learn about these tactics that you can use today in 2019. It's the good header for like this article.
Yeah, it's being transcribed, and they're going to say
Yay.
2019, okay.
But yeah, so we're going to give you some tidbits of things that you can optimize on your Google My Business page and some enhancements that they've recently added that you can take advantage of to get more calls, leads, emails, whatever it is you're trying to figure out to do. Talk to people, get some money in the door.
Whoa.
And we're going to tell you how to do it.
And then Matt Cutts is going to be here at the end.
Yay! They probably don't know who Matt Cutts is.
Matt Butts. That's what you heard at the beginning.
Matt Cutts! Yeah. Anyways, whatever happened to Matt Cutts, by the way?
Who cares? So, hopefully, we're going to cover a lot of new ground here. I don't think we're going to repeat ourselves in other stuff, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever talked about some of the stuff at all. So.
I'll talk about some experiences too, and some speculation, and some things we can look forward to this year. So, where do you want to start?
All right, so let's...
Do you have a Google My Business? What is Google My Business?
All
I
right,
don't
so
know.
let's start with some real basic stuff, right? And we'll get into some of the enhancements and some of like the higher level, advanced things that you might have to deal with.
Was that how you were going to pronounce advanced in 2019?
Advanced in 2019, yes.
Cool.
So we'll just go from the very beginning, right? And that's when you build your Google My Business page, you get it verified, hopefully.
Well, let's take a step back.
Okay.
You went so fast already.
All right, let's go back.
So it's still postcards nowadays.
It is. I've never really had success verifying it in the different forms.
So what's
that
the
they give you.
deal with people that
What's
have
the
a
deal?
What's the deal?
With postcards.
I have situations with my clients where, and we're just having a conversation here. I mean,
No,
we're not
way off topic.
like that's not way off topic. It's always gonna be about Google My Business. I have a client. They have 5 offices. I get rolling. I just do the postcard version. I go, attention, this is, for, our agency, forward it to us. It gets to A, it gets to B, C, and D, and then it never gets to E. And then I wait, the 5th location, I mean.
Yeah.
And then I give it a week, and then I tell Google, I didn't receive it. And then I send it out again, I never get it. Why do you think that happens?
Because whatever like virtual office that you sent it to
Well,
was wrong.
I mean, okay, so virtual offices, and then we can get off the topic there, but I think that personally, if you're I think Google is getting a lot more sophisticated about like storefronts and what's going on at that location. So I think right off the bat,
I'll
you don't
tell
think so? Because I'll tell you
I don't
why.
agree with that at all, and I'll tell you why.
I'll tell you why
you
right
go
after.
first, and I'll have a rebuttal.
Okay, so I have a person I'm doing a project with, and they came to me and they go, all right, so we started by doing 5 locations, right? The 5 locations I was using as a primary example, and they're all real offices. So 4 of them got the postcards, and 1 of them it took a long time, but we finally got phone verification, which is like a separate thing, and I can't even remember how I did it. Corey did it. So the guy comes to us after it's going for a while, and he's getting legit calls, and it's working well. And he goes, "This is great. I coordinated something with one of the guys that I know out in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York, and he has 18 locations, and I want to do the same thing at these 18 locations." And I'm getting like, salivating, 18, fantastic. And he goes, also, I might even give you like a little cut if you want to get this going. I'm like, this is so sweet. I'm really excited about that.
Swank.
And it turns out all 18 locations are 18 cell phone storefronts.
Yeah.
And I go, I don't know. I'm going to try it.
But was it working?
I'm going to try it by its, like the primary address. Then I'm going to do like suites ABC, 100, 200. And not a single location ever got a postcard. Not like Suite A, not 200, not from different email accounts, not spread out across weeks. Not one of those 18 ever got a postcard.
But that guy did it.
I did it.
Well, no, but he did it before you.
No, never.
Oh, that was just his idea.
Yeah. No, it's his idea based off the fact we had success with his original 5.
Yeah.
So
he goes, that was the original 5.
But the original 5, we did that, and it worked.
Okay.
Because they were like not cell phone stores. They were like buildings that could have anything going on.
I gotcha. Okay.
So it's my speculation that Google is kind of getting wising up, and because when you do Google Maps and you look at the location, it's a freaking cell phone store. It is.
So I'll tell you how there might be some truth to this from like an automated algorithm standpoint, right?
Yes.
Like
because it has
some
to be
software that does it.
There's no way
but I'll tell
someone
you,
manually
unless
did
it's verified, it can't be manually reviewed. It has to be like unless the listing has been published and verified, then it's viewed. The public can view it, because the public, through part of the Google local guides program, they review that information. I've reviewed storefronts of businesses on there because they give you points for stuff, right? I don't even know what you do with the points, but I was competing against other people doing it.
Jilly's gift cards.
But so unless it's verified, like, it's not being reviewed by a human. I know that.
Well, it's impossible. There's millions,
so
just like the websites.
It's possible, though, that there is an algorithm that's like looking at the storefront, or maybe there's something else that's like looking at patterns.
Well, I mean, it could have already been there. Well, the location could have already been verified as the cell phone store at some point.
But there can be multiple businesses in the same
but
location.
That's my point. So that's my point is like, oh, then we did suite 100, suite 200. Mm-hmm. No matter what we did, nothing happened. And then second, then we started finagling a way to get phone verification verified to that way. The second we made one edit to it afterwards, it got suspended. So it's just like, man,
yeah,
they're just cursed.
So I would say maybe that particular location, like, has been done before.
18 locations
a lot.
that have never participated in this. And by the way, this was going to be like a legal referral thing, of course.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. I know one tip, though, if you're having a problem getting it verified through the mail, and this happens from time to time, like you're describing right now. So you can, if you do it twice, you submit to have it sent twice, right? Mm-hmm. You can contact the help center from Google and then tell them, I've had it sent twice, I still haven't gotten it.
How does one get their hands on that phone number? Because it's not like
they call you back. You have to go through the whole like chat
so you go through the process.
You give them an email, you give them a phone number, and then they call you, and then you answer. But they will verify it for you if you've done it twice through the mail and you still haven't received it. Because like I have those issues. Sometimes you work at a company that has a call center, and then they have multiple locations, right? And at no point in time do like the phone numbers ever go to the locations, right? They always go to like the call center, because like the locations they don't want to like have the people that are working there like work a call center, right? They're not like doing sales and stuff like that. Like the main purpose of it is for them to like do the work and stuff at that location. So it's like you don't have a phone number ever to like call and be like, hey, can you check your mail and get this thing for me and like bring it back, right? So there's workarounds and stuff. It's like it becomes even more difficult if you're doing like claiming citations on like third-party websites.
I don't even want to talk about citations.
Yeah, that's not what this episode's about. But like, and then you have like if your primary NAP number is a tracking number going to a call center and not the location, it's very, very difficult to get stuff claimed, because like you have to be able to answer that phone number when like that whatever website that you're claiming on, it calls it, and you have to be able to answer it to claim it, and you can't because it calls the call center number.
Well, I mean, there's a different forms of verification. It's like, I know one I think maybe is for Yelp, or who gives a shit about Yelp, but it's like, we're going to call you and you're going to input this 4-digit PIN, and it's like, how do you even coordinate that? It's like, when we call, input 4172, and it's like, how do you even coordinate that with another person? It's like very, very difficult. But we're just talking about verification in general. So going back to that was a project that was like almost pretty much a failure, and the only way we're starting to have a little bit of progress with it is that Corey's doing some really odd like mobile. It's only on the mobile. It's only like local guide, and it's only some sort of verification process that like literally happens on a phone. He's gotten done that yet. 3 out of 18 verified that way.
But I do know
they're all very finicky.
Where you can just have one verified at like a friend's house, and then you can move the address anywhere you want.
Moving is surprised. So what are some of the criteria that you'd feel comfortable like going through all the trouble of doing it? Like for example, for me, I would only do it on an email account that's been around for a while and also has successfully verified a ton of legit locations already.
I don't know.
You don't mind doing it with like something that's brand new?
I don't know. I mean, like,
I think something like that comes into play a little bit.
New businesses and new email accounts like verify business every day.
Yeah.
Like it's not like it's.
But what's like the
crazy
likelihood? If Google's all about algorithms
I think
and
it's
figuring out
extremely
behavioral,
likely that happens every single day from a new email. Just because like how many unclaimed business listings are out there in Google?
tons,
Yeah,
tons and tons. We've done projects.
Like how many of those
yeah.
get claimed a day?
Oh, plenty.
Probably millions, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Millions.
just by the natural process of it happening.
So I suppose this is supposed to be like exactly like
We're getting way off
a
topic
horror
here.
story thing. But one thing to kind of look out for, and this happened recently to our friend Bill in Orlando, is talking about the manual verification process and proof that there is one. So Bill has obviously his main location in Orlando, and then he has virtual offices that have 100% are like legit. They're not one of the Opuses, Regises, or Da Vinci's. They're not BS. They have conference rooms. They're all real locations.
Meet clients there.
Yeah, meet clients are no problem. Arrangements for to be paying them monthly. Everything's legit, okay? And he had someone like call the main office and he didn't call the main office. He called one of those locations, forwards to the main office, and goes, starts asking about verification. Like, is this like Lakeland? And they go, no, this is like, this is the Orlando location. Go, can you have people? This is a legit office at Lakeland, and the receptionist was just like,
I don't know.
So you know what he did? This guy with manual from Google took all the listings that were in Orlando and then merged them all into the Orlando location. And then not only did that happen, but one of the merged ones took over for their main one. Ooh. So what happened was the main listing for the Orlando one has 200 plus reviews. Yeah. Amazing, been aged forever.
Not even have any.
And the one that replaced that was like a Lakeland one with 3 reviews. And we went like berserk, and we were on the phone with Google like every day
to have them fix it,
to get them like.
Do they fix it?
Still process.
Yeah,
it's 2 weeks later.
A lot of lost.
They'd just they'd untangle them all together to put them back where they were.
Yeah.
And make sure that the one in Orlando, because he was on maps for everything.
Oh, yeah.
When he's optimizing all the link building, was going to that maps location. We'll talk about link building the maps later. But when you have a listing that's been around that long with 200 amazing reviews, and then a Lakeland with 2 reviews that's been around for a tenth of the time takes over, you're going to drop off the maps for everything.
All right, so let's get back to some tips here because we've gotten way off topic.
So you can be manually reviewed is the moral of that story.
Yeah, so if you're going to verify it, I guess the real tip is, and you can't get a postcard, don't give up, do a couple more times, and then you can do it over the phone. It's not impossible. All right, so next thing, you made your listing. Now you got to figure out
that's all these horror stories.
You got to figure out what to make your primary category and the additional categories. So I think now you can put a total of 9.
It's up to 9.
Yeah,
wasn't it up to 3 before?
That was a long time ago. I think it went up to 7. I actually think it's at 9 now.
So of course the important question here is, the more categories you have, the more it takes away from the main one.
So this is an interesting question because I was asked this the other day, and I did a study of this myself where I looked up all of the websites that are in the top 3 for the keywords in various cities, and and
how many categories they claim.
And you can you can do some magic there, and you can see the categories that they have for each listing, right? And I looked at it, and I looked at how many they had, what the number one was, their primary one on average, what their second one was on average, all this stuff. So I did all of this work.
Oh, cool. That's a good study.
Calculated it all out. But then I read some case studies where it was it doesn't take away at all from your primary category to have more categories. And then I added as many as possible, and it absolutely didn't. And we just ranked for more things.
Okay, so because for me, I was pretty sincerely committed to doing one because I thought it took away from it based off of experience I had, but years ago.
Yeah.
And I've always kind of stuck with it.
I think when they went to more categories like that, it does not affect the primary from everything that I've seen, and then my own studies, my own tests.
So yeah, the example that I have is you have a law firm that does personal injury, and then they kind of do divorce.
As long as you have a page on your site that covers that subject matter, and you do that, if it goes to a manual review or whatever, you're still fine. You can put as many as you want, right?
Okay.
So, and not have any penalty at all for your.
And then even add the generic ones too.
What people don't know too is Google changes those categories all the time. They add categories, they remove categories. In fact, they removed I think it was 60 or 50 something categories this last year that like one of them was like dog walker. If you were a dog walker, there was a category for you. Now there's no such thing. So you don't have like a...
That's funny because there's been an explosion in dog walkers.
It's the main millennial job of this.
Oh, get the hell out of here.
Of the future.
That's not a way to trash our people. Just because they have Rover and Barkwalk and walkmydog.com.
So that's one thing. And again, this is also like, you might even want to test it because maybe the clicks that you get in from it aren't super useful either. Like maybe you do rank for it, but maybe that isn't like the thing. So like one of the examples I have, right, is like, you know, I'm in the addiction treatment space right now, and you know, one of the things that works really well that people search for and that people look for in paid search is rehab, right? Because it makes drug rehab. That's a very like common term. You would think someone's going to rehab.
So would you be considered? Is there a category for you technically? Rehab referral
when you
network
start
system?
looking at rehabs, right? When you start looking at them in the maps, what they predominantly are physical rehabilitation centers, and not addiction rehabilitation centers.
Right.
So like actual things for like people that have like surgeries on their knees.
Oh, you're talking about
like
that?
Elderly.
I gotcha.
And they're not like, so it's not, Google isn't matching that up with like the user's intent, even though users are looking for those particular keywords for something different, right? But like it's like one of those things where like Google just didn't get it right in the maps, like category wise. And maybe it'll change in the future. It's like really weird how it works. It's like 50-50 some places. Like in Orlando, it's like, you know, elderly rehab for people that have had surgeries in their backs or whatever, and then like other cities, it's like just addiction. So it's like all over the place. But I would tell you that as long as you're talking about it and like you actually offer that service, like add the category in, and like don't worry about, you know, like definitely have the main thing be like, if you could sum up what your business is in like one sentence, you know, like what they do, like what you offer, like make that like your main category.
Well, I mean, I would definitely suggest it for people 100% that aren't on the maps like at all to begin with, and maybe they have more opportunities. But what about someone that's been like crushed on the maps forever? Would you still recommend adding category, or should they be like should they be a little paranoid that would take away from the current?
I mean, I've done that to clients that have been around for a long time, and I saw huge improvements in rankings in general in calls.
Well, you heard it here first. If you're ranking well on maps and then you want to add more categories, blame Paul. If you fall off because you pick too many categories, and
then hire me to fix it, and I'll do it for you.
Well, that's how the things work, you know.
It won't affect it though.
Okay, I'm with you. I mean, I'm stuck in like 2017 with that one. So okay, so moving along. Yeah, and then also another thing we'll talking about maps, which I think is interesting. I definitely do for my clients are we're just gonna be bouncing around Google My Business, but it's all within Google My Business hours. So I encourage my clients to always say they're open 24 hours.
Why is that?
Because I also encourage them to have after-hours call centers.
Well, if they have that.
That's what I mean.
But you don't want someone calling and no one answering.
Well, like, what would really be the harm anyway?
You can do that. Do you set special holiday hours too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on top of it.
I do that as well, and everyone should be sure to do that.
Yeah, so the holiday hours are 100% a thing, and when the holidays come up, we always reach out to all our clients and we ask if they're open or closed and if they have modified hours and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you can always do holiday hours, but yeah, you can get pretty specific with your hours. Like you can say you're open from 9 to 5 and then close from 5 to 7, then open again from 7 to 10. Obviously, restaurants do that all the time. So you can kind of do intermittent kind of scheduling. But the thing about maps, and especially on mobile, is when you're closed, it's freaking all in red. And it's like, I was just telling this to a client yesterday. It's like, boom, don't call. Bad. It's like, don't call me.
Yeah.
So that's what happens. So if
that is actually like good. I mean, Google tells you not to do it if you're not.
I know they tell you not to do a lot of things.
That's true. If you just listen to Google all the time, no one would rank. But so that's really good advice, actually, that you can take into consideration.
Yeah, and one last note about that, and this is based off a conversation I was having yesterday. I know I always talk about lawyers because, well, I work with a freaking lot of lawyers, but I was working with a criminal defense lawyer yesterday who actually does have a lot of potential clientele that would call 24 hours a day, 17 days a week, and they weren't really sure if they should get a call after hours call service. So we're like, thank goodness you've been running, well, not them, but other clients actually been running AdWords 24 hours, and I'm able to take their data and see what impressions and clicks they get any hour of the night and day and day of the week, and I can apply that to other people.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
So one of the coolest things that they've recently added into Google My Business is the queries and clicks to your listing. So what people are actually searching to get.
I did notice that.
And so how you want to use this, right, is you want to take these terms and you want to compare them to your organic rankings that you have for your site right now, and you want to optimize for them. So if you can like take those terms and add them somewhere on the page that you have that's ranking highest organically right there, like below it, and just like add that in there, it's just going to help you jump up in the rankings and like organically, and then that's going to help you get up in the rankings for local.
Yeah.
Like people, I don't think they put enough weight on this, and they should, is like how important organic rankings are to actually being in the map pack.
Oh, maps are everything. Well, maps are a game changer.
Yeah, but like you got to have both. Like you can't have one without the other.
Well, it's also like the reinforcement too. It's the same reason that I still do like AdWords with people on maps and organic.
Yeah,
because it's like you see them 3 times, so you're gonna.
It's extraordinarily difficult to rank for anything that's competitive in a map pack if you don't have organic listings. For
it doesn't happen too often together. And I realized I said just before we proceed, I realized I said something stupid that you can only say. Use AdWords to figure out your hour of the day and day of the week. Of course, you can just look at your analytics of your website.
They'll tell you that.
And then if you want to know like how many people actually visit my website after hours and should I be open later or get a call service or just go on your analytics and be like, holy crap, most of my visitors come from 10 to
I'm glad
midnight.
that you clarified that, because I was going to have to like cut it out of the podcast afterwards.
Just the AdWords part?
Yeah.
Why?
I was embarrassed by it.
No, you weren't. I mean, it was actually pretty useful too.
You can use it
but
too, yeah.
But the analytics and AdWords are pretty much the same. So.
All right, so that's a good tip. So another thing that they've added, and I don't know if you've played around with it, but I'm doing it currently right now, is the messaging app that they can do. And, there's things I like about it, and there's things that really are annoying, and they're stupid and suck about it.
Sounds like everything that Google ever has rolled out ever.
So there's no API for it, for one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like everything that they first launched.
Well, it's surprising how big, huge companies that everyone knows they're so short-sighted on a lot of things like that.
So in order to enable the messaging function, you have to do it from your phone. So you have to download the Google My Business app on your phone, and you have to tell it the phone number that you want.
Paul just held up the phone to emphasize that this is what he's doing. Yep, and he showed me the app, and
we're gonna do
that picture's stupid.
A comic of this podcast.
Ugh. Is that guy drawing? He's drawing it right now.
He's drawing it right now. So you have to use your phone to like enable the messaging app.
Very silly.
And then to turn the messaging app off, you have to do it on the desktop.
Wow, that's called intuitive.
But what's kind of cool about it though is so it sends it directly into the messaging on your phone, the text messaging on your
Paul
phone.
is showing this to me.
It doesn't go through the app.
Only you could see it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't.
So how does it pop up then?
So it sends it to your phone messenger.
Oh, so you're just like chatting like
that's right.
Chat.
So that's kind of annoying, right? Because like, what if you have like 7 locations for like this one business, and there's a bunch of other people? It's like, who do you send that to?
Well, that's that's why you wanted some sort of API, and then B, that's it.
So we found a pretty interesting workaround, right? Because like the people that would contact us, they need to talk to like a professional, like right away, that can help them with like their addiction issues, right? So you don't want to just have like an intern getting these on their phone.
Not even a doctor intern?
No, not even a doctor intern. Doctor
intern?
Doctor? No, but what we figured out, right, is you can just use a random phone number, and then through the magic of third-party apps like Zap or something like that,
you zap it around.
Yeah, send that bad boy straight to an email.
That makes sense.
And then you can respond to the text to an email, and then send that to like a group email, and then whoever gets it from that pool.
That's called a workaround, all right.
It's a heck of a workaround, which Google should have just given you the ability to do that to begin with.
Yeah, what are their developers doing? They're just like, I don't know, this is about as far as we want to get.
Yeah, we're just going to put enough effort into it.
It's called Messenger. It's not called like Messenger with email to multiple people.
So that's a really cool feature.
Absolutely.
That they have.
And how does one go about, so like they type in their thing, they see it on the maps, they click, at what point are they clicking on the listing or going somewhere where they have the option to start messaging?
You only see that from the SERPs for the business on your phone. That's the only time it's
only mobile.
Yeah.
But everything's going to mobile, so it's all good.
Yeah, for the most part, everything's going mobile.
Yeah.
Oh, it really just depends on the industry you're talking about, right?
Most.
I would say like financial related stuff, most people still look up on their desktop because like you usually have to have like a couple of screens and to like do stuff like that.
Because all your day trading is on one of them, and
even just think of your own industry that you're in SEO. Like you look up way more SEO stuff on your desktop than you do your phone because you usually have like 2 screens or whatever, and you're doing.
Well, because if I plan on doing a lot of reading, I'm going to prefer to do.
You can't really do SEO work on your phone.
You can't do any.
That's right. So like I constantly like get information from a desktop, and do all my work on a desktop, and so that's how I get it. But like that's not the majority of industries anyway. So,
okay.
So I think it's like 70% of traffic now is. Or is it? It might not be that high. Is it like in the 60s?
I mean, of course, like you said, it's industry related. I'd say for most of my clients, professional services within a certain area.
Oh,
it's about 60. It's about 60, 70.
60, 70.
I have one client. I swear it's like 80.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, that's just like that's all the way.
There's a different set of ranking factors for mobile too.
And then 20% iPad
and for desktop.
iPad is actually I've been noticing has been dipping off a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like people are buying less of them.
Slash tablet.
I feel like they're just not as popular as they once were.
Yeah. Just a little tidbit of information for all you listening. The tablet traffic I've been seeing for a lot of people has been kind of tapering off a little bit.
So let's talk about a couple more quick features. We talked a little about posts before we started the podcast.
Yeah.
So you've been doing some posts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing a little bit. So let's talk about how you handle posts.
So the post is has been delegated, and I don't have too much insight on it. Besides the fact that I know that there are, I don't know if they necessarily come up in search results. I think that's why we started getting interested in it, because I think they do have the potential of showing up in SERPs.
They only show up, I believe, when it's a branded search. So
and then you have your like whole snippet off to the side.
That's the only time you can.
And then it has the posts within it, which do look good.
But I will say there are terms that don't have enough local business or something, and people will search it, and there won't be a pack. There'll just be a snippet of your business.
Yeah.
So there are situations where like just non-branded keywords, like your brand will show up for non-branded keywords in the snippet, and that'll show up there too.
I would say definitely like moving forward, and especially since Google Plus doesn't exist anymore, and Google wants to have some sort of like social aspect at all times.
That's why they're building out.
So I think that they're like kind of, it's always just good to be on the forefront of whatever the hell Google's doing. I mean, just let's face it. And plus, like, especially if you have a WordPress website, there are plugins that integrate the ability to post, and like you just click, just one click, and then it goes.
I might want to fact check this one.
What?
I don't think there's any plugins.
Well, that's what we're doing.
That will post to Google business posts.
That's what
I've seen. What's it called?
Well, I don't know. I don't do it.
Yeah.
That's why I have employees.
I think you have to either manually do it. I can think of only two software
I'm almost
programs.
positive that you can. It's a one-click thing that'll share it.
If they did it in the past 3 months, then maybe
it would be in the past 3 months.
Yeah, because like even 3 months ago, I was looking for like a solution for this.
All right, let's do a guest call. Corey.
Because like the specifications for stuff in it, it's like the image size, it's like very specific, or like won't accept it.
Yeah, maybe like takes whatever featured image you have and redimensionalizes it.
Yeah.
All I know is I know that the people on my team were like making kind of a big deal about how like we have this plugin, and once we post something, we click this other button and it shares it to their business really easily.
Well, I'd love to see it and use it if you have it. So
I'm showing Paul right now.
So
Isn't it beautiful?
So one of the cool things though is they keep sort of updating the features of it too. So now they have a click to call feature within the post.
Oh yeah.
You can do events for things that you're having. So if you're like a business that has event type offers or anything like that, that's also a really good thing if you're running like specials. So you can be like book right now in July or whatever date and get 10% off, right? So you can use that as like just some sort of incentive for people to like click on the post and drive business that way.
So I think like where we're headed definitely with this conversation is that Google has definitely expanded Google My Business a lot more than it used to be. And
well, you can even build a whole website with Google My Business right now with one click.
There's a reason that this is happening.
Yeah.
Because like Google doesn't typically put on this effort unless like they're gonna make it visible or make
money off of it,
or somehow make money off of it, or put it in front of people.
Well, I think they've realized that like Google Plus was such a massive failure.
God, I really just didn't like anything
I
about it.
used to call it the Great Wasteland. It's like, why would you even bother posting in Google Plus?
I tried gaining some circles.
It was just stupid.
Of course it was stupid.
It's annoying. So they have to deal with that terrible failure, but they still want a piece of that local, or they want a piece of that social media type of content, right? And so they're pushing more and more types of things within local that can do that. So even now, there's an option where people can ask you questions to like the business owner, and then the business owner can answer, or just anyone actually can answer.
They do have like the Q&A portion of it too.
So we like preemptively do that. We ask and answer questions that people might have about like the business beforehand, like when was it started, like they take these types of insurances. This is all the stuff that we offer. Like so, we do that, and we actively answer those people's questions as well when they have them. But that's another really, really cool feature. If you're not taking advantage of, you should do that. Just give people as much positive information about your business as you possibly can.
Yep. And then it all ties into, I know it's not like necessarily called your snippet, but the whole thing on the side. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it's not called snippet, but yeah, it pulls in a lot more information you used to. Q&A. It pulls in the posts, and then it also pulls in reviews from places that you'd never really think that they'd pull in places from before, like Thumbtack will like show up on there too.
Yeah. So
Facebook.
Yeah, and depending on the industry, they pull in a lot of information.
Yeah.
But like the reviews in particular, you can have like plugins and stuff on your site too that feed into that review. Mm-hmm. And it can be even from like the page level. Like you can have star reviews from like the page, a particular page on your website that can like feed into the aggregate for it.
Interesting.
But let's talk about the last thing, and this is actually super important for a lot of reasons, and that's like tracking numbers.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
So I've done this recently where I've had to put a tracking number over an older NAP number that doesn't really work very well anymore. And I didn't have any issues at all with this like transition. But what are your thoughts on like dealing with all that?
So it's like a tracking number that's going to be different from like the destination?
So what we had is we had a phone number that stopped working, and we didn't manage it. Another department managed it, and it just kept going out all the time. And we were like, this is not good, because like at one time it was
a number only on the maps. That's the only place you'd ever find it.
It's the Google My Business number,
but that would reflect on the map,
the citations, but it's from the map. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it's like a lot of places. It's in all the hundreds of citations as well. And it was on the website at some point, but they're very sophisticated with like the number that shows to the audience that comes to the website. So depending on the traffic source you're coming from, you might get a different phone number, so they can track all of it.
Oh, so like super dynamic.
Yeah, it's very, very dynamic. But so they have this number that stopped working, and we're like, well, we can't. It was off for like a month, right? And so that's like hundreds and hundreds of calls, and so
sweet,
a lot of lost business. And so we were like, we have to put our own number in there and manage it ourselves. And so I'm then tasked with like, oh, okay, am I going to have to swap out this number on like hundreds of different citations? Yeah. Which eventually I did, anyways, just to make sure everything matched. But Google makes it really, really easy for you to like add an additional tracking number and keep your traditional number that you had associated with the NAP, your name, address, and phone number, with the listing. So you just have to kind of like switch the order of them or something in there. I forgot what like the directions were to do it, but like I did it and I didn't have any problems at all.
Okay, and then I know I mentioned this like earlier, but I when I was a lot more noobish, and I was like getting tracking numbers, and I'm like, oh, I want to get like 800 numbers and other 88, whatever, instead of local numbers because they're cheaper. Am I going to be at a disadvantage like listing an 800 number instead of like a local area code number on the maps? Is like really going to be a detriment of my like likelihood to be on maps? And I don't know. What do you think?
I've seen it make a difference.
I mean, the epitome of local is the area code.
I've seen it make a difference, and I've seen it not make a difference. Yeah. So I would.
The shorter answer is I actually don't know.
I would say that you definitely should do it.
It sounds more intuitive to use a local number with the local area code because this is freaking Google Local we're talking about.
Yeah.
And not like a generic toll free. But then again, I also think that there's other ranking factors that have way more weight.
I think it's lost its importance as a ranking factor over time. I think that, honestly, I think they don't care as much as they used to.
But do you think probably people care though? If a person sees 800 versus 407,
I've never cared when I call a local business.
I personally don't give a crap
I don't
either.
really think anything about it.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'm not dialing that number out anyways. I'm just pushing a button to call it from their Google My Business listing. So, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to actually look more into the studies about that. But I actually think it probably doesn't matter as much anymore. So
Great.
I guess takeaway from that to our listeners is if you have the option to get one and it's cheap, use a local number and be safe. But if you can't, I wouldn't lose sleep over it.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then really last thing, I think that being able to get an ad within Maps is a really sweet ad.
I've never done that.
And that has to do with ad extensions to location. That's how that works. So that's a whole separate conversation.
We can save that for another podcast.
We'll save it for the podcast we're going to do right after this one.
Paid search stuff on a podcast because
Yeah, we don't really talk about paid search. And
you're the paid search expert here, so.
Me?
Yeah.
Crap, I was just logged in for the first time in about 3 weeks, so I guess I'm not exactly an expert. I logged into Google AdWords today. I'm like, where's the tool so I can revert back to the old dashboard? I'm like, you can't anymore. I'm going to have to get used to this one forever.
It's like Search Console. I always go back to the old version.
But you can still go back to the old version of that one.
They got rid of the reports in it, though.
So did they? So it's like kind of worthless?
Yeah.
Oh, why can't things stay the same forever?
I hate change. I fear it. Anyways, so, all right, well,
we're going to do other stuff now. But I'm glad that we did this because we weren't going to do it and we had to talk.
I feel like it was a useful episode. I hope that our listeners found
I think we have to also realize, and I guess we can give ourselves just a little bit of credit, that once we get rolling onto a topic, we can talk about it for a while.
Probably more than they want to listen.
No one's even listening anymore.
I know. We just got to take this show on the road and do live episodes, man.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Let's stop.
Coming to a town near you.
No, coming
Paul
to
and
a
Ryan.
triple D by you. Sticking 2 birds, 1 stone.
Anyways, well, guys, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it. I hope you got some good tips out of this podcast.
Would this be number 20?
This is the big 2-0.
2-0.
Woo! And we appreciate all you guys listening. Thank you so much.
Hopefully you're learning stuff. And for real, start reaching out to us about crap.
Yeah, we love that. We love that stuff. We've heard a couple people reach out to us.
We got our first fan mail.
That was we have fan. Thanks, man, if you're listening.
There's a handwritten note.
So, anyways, but okay, thanks again for listening. So, I'm Paul Warren.
And I'm Ryan Klein.
And this has been another episode of SEO is Dead and Other Lies.
Okay.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.